Section 18, Vehicles, Machinery, and Equipment. The references for this section are EM 385, TAC 1, TAC 1, Section 18, 29 CFR 1926.600, Subpart O, 29 CFR 1926.1000, Subpart W, and various ANSI and ASME standards. Common earth-moving equipment. Common earth-moving equipment are such things as bobcats, backhoes, graders, bulldozers. Common material hauling equipment, trailers, dump trucks, cement mixers. Common material handling equipment include forklifts, rough terrain forklifts, and telehandlers. Mishaps. Potential mishap outcomes could be caught in or between, struck by. One of 4 vehicles struck by deaths involve construction workers, more than any other occupation. Falls or electrocution. Direct causes of equipment-related mishaps: poorly maintained equipment, operator error, unqualified operator, improper selection and use of equipment, unsafe work practices, or inclement weather. General requirements. New for the 2014 edition, every person operating machinery and mechanized equipment, ATVs, or utility vehicles, or other specialty vehicles shall be properly trained, as described in this section, qualified, meaning licensed, certification, or permit, and designated by the employer in writing to operate such equipment. Additionally, in the new edition, every person operating a motor vehicle, machinery, and mechanized equipment, ATV, UV, or other specialty vehicles shall possess at all times while operating such a vehicle or equipment a license or permit, proof of qualification valid for the equipment being operated. Licensing shall be per service regulation for military personnel and state regulations for civilian personnel to include contractors. Operator must present the license or permit to the government designated authority upon request. Failure to do so will result in the immediate prohibition of the operator to operate motor vehicles. For U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and NAVFAC equipment or vehicle operators, in lieu of a license or permit for each piece of equipment, an operator equipment qualification record, DA Form 348 or similar type of documentation, may be maintained on file at the employee's project office for all USACE and NAVFAC vehicle equipment operators. Government personnel may be required to carry the OF 346 motor vehicle operator's license and driving record on military bases in addition or in lieu of a state driver's license. Check the local base for their requirements. Inspection, tests, maintenance, and repairs. Before initial use, vehicles not otherwise inspected by state or local authorities shall be inspected by a qualified mechanic and found in safe operating condition and in compliance with all required published vehicle safety standards. The inspection shall be documented and available for inspection at the worksite. This is a one-time inspection. Backup alarms. Reverse signal or backup alarm shall be provided on all self-propelled equipment. The reversal signal shall be distinctly heard in the prevailing conditions. Reverse signals must operate automatically upon backward motion. They can be either continuous or intermittent, 3-second intervals. Removal or disabling of any backup alarm is strictly prohibited. Equipment designed for operator to always face forward does not require a reverse signal alarm. Commercial cargo vehicles such as pickup trucks, utility cargo or tool trucks, and flatbed cargo trucks intended for use on public highways with a normally clear view through the rear window are not required to have backup alarms. If the view to the rear is temporarily obstructed by a load or permanently blocked by a utility or toolbox or other modification, then a signal person may be used. If the value outweighs the risk as determined by an AHA, in lieu of a signal person, a backup alarm must be installed. A signal person may be used in lieu of a warning device if the value outweighs the risk as determined by an AHA. Operating rules. New in the 2014 edition. For the purpose of this paragraph, a government-owned motor vehicle is any vehicle, government-owned, POV, or rental car if being used while on duty in lieu of government-owned vehicle used to transport government employees. The principles of defensive driving shall be practiced. Operators, both government and contractor, of government-owned vehicles shall complete defensive driver training initially and every 4 years thereafter. Contractor personnel must provide documentation of completion of a suitable defensive driving course to the GDA upon request. Additionally, in the new 2014 edition, only trained, qualified, and certified and designated operators shall be permitted to operate a powered industrial truck. Qualification shall be in writing via a license, permit, or other documentation. Refresher training in relevant topics shall be conducted at least once every 3 years, including an evaluation of each powered industrial truck operator's performance. In addition, refresher training shall be provided to the operator when the operator has been observed to operate the vehicle in an unsafe manner, has been involved in a mishap, has received an evaluation that reveals that the operator is not operating the truck safely, is assigned to drive a different type of truck, or a condition in the workplace changes in a manner that could affect the safe operation of the truck. Towing. Also new in the 2014 edition, all vehicle or equipment operators required to pull a trailer must be properly trained, evaluated, qualified, and designated to perform this operation. Falling Object Protective Structures, or FOPS. Guards, canopies, or grills provided for operators when conducting clearing operations on bulldozers, tractors, or similar equipment. Rollover Protective Structures, or ROPS. Seat belts and ROPS shall be installed on crawler and rubber tire tractors, including dozers, push and pull tractors, winch tractors, and mowers. Off-the-highway self-propelled pneumatic tire earth movers such as trucks, pans, scrapers, bottom dumps, and end dumps. Motor graders, water tank trucks having a tank height less than the cab, and other self-propelled construction equipment such as front-end loaders, backhoes, rollers, and compactors. ROPS are not required on trucks designed for hauling on public highways, crane-mounted dragline backhoes, rollers and compactors of tandem steel-wheeled and self-propelled pneumatic tired type that do not have an operator station, self-propelled rubber-tired lawn and garden tractors operated on flat terrain, maximum 10-degree slope, 20-degree slope when offloading from a truck, not exposed to rollover hazards, cranes, drag lines, or equipment on which the operator's cab or boom rotate as a unit. Motor vehicles. Motor vehicles are defined as a sedan, van, SUV, truck, motorcycle, or other mode of conveyance intended for use on public roadways. This includes construction equipment that is driven on public highways. Operator restrictions. The following shall apply to operators of motor vehicles. No portable headphones, earphones, or other listening devices. No eating, drinking, or smoking while the vehicle is in motion. GPS shall only be mounted where it does not create sight hazards for the operator. Transportation of personnel. The number of passengers in passenger-type vehicles shall not exceed the number that can be seated. No person will be permitted to ride with arms or legs outside of a vehicle body, in a standing position on the body, on running boards, seated on side fenders, cabs, cab shields, in the bed of the truck, or on the load. Getting on or off any vehicle while it is in motion is prohibited. Machinery and mechanized equipment is defined as mobile, stationary, self-propelled, or towed equipment intended for use on construction sites or industrial sites. This equipment is not intended for operation on public highways. Equipment such as dump trucks, cargo trucks, and other vehicles that may also travel on public roadways must also meet the requirements of Section 18.E. Before any machinery or mechanized equipment is placed in use, it shall be inspected and tested daily when in use. These inspections and tests shall be documented by the competent person to include, as a minimum, the date, inspector name, specific items inspected, and pass-fail indication. Copies of the inspections will be provided to the GDA upon request. They shall be certified in writing by a competent person. Bulldozer and scraper blades, end loader buckets, dump bodies, and similar equipment shall be either fully lowered or blocked when being repaired or when not in use. All controls shall be in a neutral position with the engine stopped and brakes set, unless work being performed on the machine requires otherwise. Machinery and mechanized equipment shall be operated only by designated, qualified personnel. The use of headphones for entertainment purposes, e.g., radio, CD, music, books, etc., while operating equipment is prohibited, except for communication directly related to operating the machinery or equipment. The use of cell phones or any other electronic device that may cause distraction is prohibited while operating the equipment. All operator training and evaluation shall be conducted by persons who have the knowledge, training, and experience to train the equipment operators and evaluate their competence. Multi-purpose machines, material handling equipment, for example, rough terrain forklifts, lulls, etc., and construction equipment, if used to lift loads suspended by rigging equipment, shall have proof or authorization from the manufacturer that the machine is capable of making lifts of loads suspended by rigging equipment, demonstrate that the equipment is properly configured to make such lifts, and the machine or equipment must be equipped with a load chart. The contractor must provide certification that the operator is trained, qualified, and designated for the operation of the machine, multi-purpose material handling and construction equipment being utilized to lift loads suspended by rigging equipment. Floating equipment. All equipment placed or operating on barges, pontoons, vessels, or other means of flotation must be evaluated by a qualified person for safe placement, transport, and operating conditions. At a minimum, the evaluation shall include proper operating procedures per the manufacturer, stability and structural assessment of equipment and barge or pontoon, if required, where and how the equipment will be secured to address positively secured positioning of the equipment, i.e., no movement or tipping, and environmental restrictions. If the qualified person determines that the equipment can safely operate under the anticipated conditions within the manufacturer's operating procedures, the evaluation shall be documented in writing by the qualified person in the AHA and provided to the government designated authority prior to work beginning. If the equipment cannot safely operate under anticipated conditions within the manufacturer's operating procedures, or the qualified person determines that this is not safe to do so, then the use of this equipment in this capacity is not allowed. If there are no manufacturer's operating procedures, a registered professional engineer with knowledge and experience with this type of equipment must develop the safe operating procedures. The qualified person can then perform the evaluation of the equipment and the barge or pontoon. This evaluation shall be documented in writing by the qualified person in the AHA and provided to the government designated authority prior to work beginning. AHAs for floating equipment shall consider location of all overhead electrical lines and hazards, location of any possible unexploded ordnance or hazardous agents in the soil, location of utilities both above and below grade, designated areas for equipment operations and material storage, assembly and disassembly sequences for rock, soil, and concrete drilling equipment. AHAs for floating equipment shall consider operation of rock, soil, and concrete drilling equipment and handling of associated materials, a geotechnical survey report identifying subsurface and surface ground conditions. The findings of this survey and the controls for all potential hazards shall become a part of the AHA. Members of drilling crews shall be provided training based on the Equipment Operating Manual and the AHA. Records of tests and inspections. The contractor shall keep records of tests and inspections. They shall be made available in a timely manner upon request of the GDA, shall become part of the official project file when submitted. Shall provide the GDA ample notice in advance of any equipment entering the site so that he or she may observe the contractor's inspection process and so that spot checks may be conducted. Equipment modification. No modifications or additions that affect the capacity or safe operation of machinery or equipment shall be made without the manufacturer's written approval. The picture on the left shows forklift tines attached to the front load bucket of a backhoe. This is allowed if permitted by the manufacturer. The picture on the right shows a shackle bolt welded to the front end loader of a backhoe to be used as a lifting hook. This is not permitted. Safe operating condition. Do not use unsafe equipment. Do not exceed safe operating speeds or loads. Equipment shall be equipped with at least one dry chemical or CO2 fire extinguisher with a minimum rating of 10 BC. No one shall be permitted in the truck cab during loading operations except the driver, and then only if the truck has a cab protector. This picture illustrates a mishap. An employee worked too close to the trencher and was struck by the equipment. It was a result of disregarding equipment warning posters. There was no AHA for the evolution being conducted. There was no training, no supervision, and no enforcement of safety requirements. Powered industrial trucks, forklifts, and telehandlers. When powered industrial trucks or telehandlers are configured to hoist and lower by means of a winch or hook and horizontally move a suspended load, rated capacity posted on the vehicle clearly visible to the operator, and shall only be operated by trained and authorized operators. Training must be classroom and practical for the type of truck the student uses on the job, as required by 29 CFR 1910.178. The employer must certify the operator has been trained, and the certificate to include the name of the operator, the date of the training, the date of the evaluation, and the identity of the trainer. Powered industrial trucks. When unattended, the load shall be fully lowered, must have an overhead guard, dock boards and bridge plates must be secured, load must be tilted back and raised only as far as necessary to clear the road surface. Note, personnel shall not pass under or ride the tines. All-terrain vehicles, ATVs. Every ATV operator shall have completed a nationally recognized, accredited ATV training course, such as provided by the Specialty Vehicles Institute of America or by in-house resources that have been certified as trainers by an accredited organization prior to operation of the vehicle. must pass an operating skills test prior to being allowed to operate an ATV. Proof of completion of this training shall be made available to the GDA upon request. Safety apparel. ATVs must be equipped with a horn, brake lights, muffler, and spark arresters. Operators must wear an approved safety helmet, face shield, or goggles and gloves. Required equipment. Four-wheeled ATVs only. Copy of the operator's manual must be kept on the vehicle. Note: operators may not operate an ATV in a careless or reckless manner that endangers, injures, or damages any person or property. Safety apparel. The picture on the left illustrates an operator wearing all the manufacturer's recommended safety apparel. The picture on the right shows an operator operating the equipment outside of the manufacturer's recommended procedures. Utility vehicles. Specialty vehicles designed to perform off-road utility tasks such as passenger and cargo transportation. For example, Rangers, Rhino, M-Gators, Gators, Mules, etc. shall require the following: operator training provided by the manufacturer, copy of the manual is required to be on the vehicle, horn, brake lights, and operable rear view mirrors, rollover protection, ropes, or a helmet is required if no ropes installed on the vehicle, seat belts, and a slow-moving vehicle sign. Specialty vehicles such as golf carts, Segway, HT, snow machines, etc. In summary, equipment must be in a safe operating condition. Operators must be trained and qualified in the equipment they are operating. Equipment must be operated and inspected in accordance with the manufacturer's recommendations, contract requirements, and the requirements of this manual.